I lived in the chaos for a long time and drinking myself into oblivion and having to get in an early morning car into the studio to do a live TV performance of a song. I just never had that moment of understanding how to get sober. For me, it's been music since I was a kid. Since I was about 5 years old, I was in a Ceilidh band. I decided to sing a few songs in mass, like in my local church that my grandmother went to. Grandmother turns to my cousin and she says, "Who's that singing?" My cousin was like, "It's Janet." I ended up doing a TV show and then pursuing music after it. Music was the thing that I leaned on. And then obviously the older I got, the more I then started writing about my own things, just writing about my feelings. I was incredibly shy growing up. I was shy and I also didn't really like myself, so that meant I didn't really say very much because I didn't have the confidence to actually even speak to people or believe that I had anything of any value to give anyone, so I just chose really not to speak unless I was spoken to. But alcohol was this magical elixir that allowed me to be confident, to dance, to talk to people and let my hair down and have a good time. I got to be this fun, extroverted version of myself that I just couldn't be every single day. But the minute I suppose that I moved out fully and got my first place at 17, and I was living in a city where I knew no one. I was on my own in a big city and I was, pursuing music full time. I was making my first album. So theoretically I should have been the happiest I ever was. But unfortunately, I never learned how to be on my own. I never learned how to be in my own company. And for some people that's fine, they just naturally know. But when you hate yourself, when you really, really dislike yourself, that means you're in bad company. And I hated being on my own, and I just wanted to fast forward to when I was useful and when I was doing the thing that I knew, which was making music. So I just didn't want time to exist. I started off innocently as a 17-year-old in an apartment. I would just get a bottle of wine, listen to my favorite songs, sing into my hairbrush, have a good time. But it quickly became turning up for vocal sessions hungover, having to leave the studio, excuse myself and go be sick. It was a gradual and slow decline into insanity. I'm an addict. I'm addicted to alcohol. I was addicted to sleeping pills. I was addicted to self-harm. I was addicted to starving myself. I was addicted to self-destruction in all of its forms. And I also got addicted to people and relationships. I would go missing for days. I'd almost got blacklisted from the music industry. I turned up to photo shoots with scars on my arms reeking of alcohol. Still didn't stop me. I turned up for morning television after being on the drink for 3 days straight and drinking myself into oblivion, throwing up in the sink at 3 a.m. and having to get in an early morning car into the studio to do a live TV performance of a song and freaking everyone out. I didn't want to exist. I wanted to be alone. I wanted to just disappear. I didn't want to end my life, even though I tried to a few times. I was afraid to because I was raised Catholic. Just the way addictions work with me and my personality is that it's emotional whack-a-mole. I stopped self-harming and then up pops something else. I just never had that moment of understanding how to get sober. I lived in the chaos for a long time. I lived in this place of my mother being afraid to answer the phone because she thought she was going to get that call of your daughter's passed away. She's swallowed her tongue or she's choked on her own vomit, and it was awful. And to think I put the people I love through that much pain hurts me. I ended up going to the doctors, gave me the details for the local AA meeting. So there was an all-women's meeting. I went in, I seen a lot of beautiful, successful, well-dressed, well-kept women. And I was like, wait, am I in the right room? I thought I was here for alcoholics. And they shared their stories and I heard I resonated heavily, and I took on the advice of everyone there, and I went to 90 meetings in 90 days. That's where I got to. I got a psychiatrist, we did all the things, and it turned out I have bipolar and borderline personality disorder. And they are incredibly hard to deal with when you're trying to be sober. Some people can go to a meeting and get sober and stay sober. I needed a little bit of extra help, and that's also okay. And I want people to know that you're not broken just because one thing isn't enough. Maybe you need a few other things. So that's what happened. I got medicated for my conditions, and then I was going to regular therapy. I was going once a week for 2 years, and I finally saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I felt chemically balanced for the first time in my life. And then I was living sober. So when I got to a place of balance, I then was able to deal with the stuff in my life, the traumas, the things I'd always been running from. I was able to do it in a much more level-headed and clear-minded approach. So that has been my saving grace. And now, by the grace of God, I'm 5 years sober. So in my life, there's been one constant, and that's being music. Like, when people ask me for advice on getting sober, I'm always trying to help them find that thing in their life that gets them out of bed. Like, even when I was in my drunken stupor, I would still try my best, and it didn't work all the time, but if I had something booked in my diary to do with music that was exciting, or something to work on, something to strive for, I could do it, and it gave me a reason and a purpose to keep going. And obviously that looks different for different people, but for me it's been music since I was a kid. So for me, music has been a tool to really truly see what I'm actually going through and what's playing on my mind, and that's been amazing. And you know, I wrote about everything I've gone through. I did this big conceptual album to just finally cleanse myself of these demons or whatever, you know, just get rid of everything and shut the book on it. My music always seemed to run alongside some form of self-destructive behavior, and obviously there's inspirations that are drawn between the two. Like I wrote a song called Whiskey Lullabies when I was like 18 years old about drinking myself to sleep, but nobody knew I was an alcoholic yet, and that was incredibly therapeutic. Like, since putting that out and then seeing a psychiatrist and seeing a therapist and really getting to understand myself has now led me to a point where I'm writing the best music I've ever written. I'll call my psychiatrist, and it's just amazing to go from someone who would curse the sun for rising because they didn't want to live on this planet anymore to waking up and being like, what a blessing it is to be alive. What a blessing it is to be doing the job I love, to be making music full time, to be living out the dreams of the younger me. I still have feelings. I still get my heart broken. I still get annoyed with myself. I still have life events that happen to me that suck. And just all of these things, but I feel like I have so much more control over it. Like, it's amazing to have gone through all of everything I've went through, left this little trail of music about it, and get to a point now where I don't hate myself. It's hard when I've had such amazing people in my life that I took for granted, or I worried them or scared them, but I was also scaring myself, I guess. But that means that now that I'm sober, you know, because I apologized through bated breath every time. I'm so sorry I drank, and I would continue drinking. So my thing when I got sober was actions speak louder than words. Go be the person that you're supposed to be. Pay these people back by as many little things as you can, you know, by helping them out when they need a hand, by offering your time, by offering any form of service that you can, by truly wanting to thank them by actions. And that's what I've tried my best to do. You know, be that trying to be a good aunt, be a good daughter, be a good sister to my family, or be it to my team by turning up every day, getting the things done that I'm supposed to get done, and not taking the mick like I used to. It's a long and hard journey to get to a point where I can actually be functional and be happy and love life, but I'm so glad I did it, because otherwise my life would have ended in the pain. I wouldn't have known anything beyond the struggle, the self-deprecation, the self-harming, the drinking, that would have been where my life ended. So it's a case of just being in servitude, and trying not to take anything for granted, and being grateful every day. Every day, whatever you can be grateful for, be grateful for. If you've got a roof over your head, food in the fridge, that's not a given, and it's not a guarantee. So you cannot take it for granted. I am sane. Are you?